should accept yourself just the way you are. What does that say about who I should become? Is that just now off the table because I'm already good enough in every way? So am I done or something? Get the hell up. Get your act together. Adopt some responsibility. Put your life together. Develop a vision. Unfold all those manifold possibilities that lurk within. Be a force for good in the world, and that'll be the adventure of your life.
You didn't get that job and you didn't get that title. You was worthy before you got that title. You know what happened when I realized that I was God's priority? You know, I started going to companies and they would charge. They say, we're going to give you this much money. I would say, let me see your values. And I'd say, you know what? I can't do it. And they say, well, we paying you what you work. Why you can't do it? I said, my anointing is valuable. I can't give you this anointing. I'm sorry, but I just know God wouldn't be pleased if I got in alignment with your company. There's nothing about your company and me that, I'm sorry, knowing that whatever money I said no to, God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, beyond. God is able to do exceedingly abundant, beyond anything I could think of. I don't need your money according to the word, because I am a priority. I am a lender and not a borrower. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. You can't do nothing if you can't do nothing for me anyway. Your problem is for real. You say it, but you don't know that you are royal priesthood and the chosen generation.
To navigate, there's two things you need to know. And the first is, where the hell are you? Exactly, precisely, right? Razor sharp. What's good about you and what's bad about you? By your own reckoning. You don't have to. You can ask other people, but this is a game you play yourself. It's like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm taking stock. What is it that's okay about me? What needs some work? And you've got to watch to not be too self-critical when you're doing that too, because that can just be another kind of flaw. And then the next is, okay, well, where are you going? What's your destination? Well, and that's what the frame is. Now, you could do that in a very sophisticated way. And you do that by thinking consciously about who it is that you are in an articulated manner and where you want to go and why and how you're going to get there. And people hardly ever do that. That's come as such an absolute shock to me.
That down somewhere. We know you can carry them, but you're a priority today. Oh, some of you ain't used to being a priority. You like me, you don't, but I want you to get into your priority in 2023. I want you to, whatever your other goals are, bring those down on your whiteboard and put priority at the top of the whiteboard, okay? Just bring all them down, okay? Find one, put a piece of paper up on top of them and put priority. Put, God, you will be my priority and nobody will come before you. I will be a priority. Here's what I want you to ask yourself. When are you going to finally level up? Oh, come on, write that down. When are you going to level up? When are you going to level up? God told me to say to you that when you're going to level up, listen to me. I told you, you're not an animal, you're not the trees, you're not insects. You was made on the 6th day. Even in creation, you was priority. Ain't nobody, all the other ones, he just said, let there be, and let there be, and let there be, and let there be. When he made you, he said, come on, y'all. Let us.
People put things to rest, although it's quite stressful while you're doing it. Stress goes up when you're doing it, and maybe you feel miserable for a couple of weeks, and then stress goes down and it stays down. So that's also why people don't do it, because who the hell wants to have their stress go up? But if it's temporary, it's a sacrifice. So then the next issue is, well, where are you going? And one of the things that, and this I cannot understand, these students that had been in education system for 15 years, 14 years, high-end students, most of them, not once in their whole bloody life did anyone ever get them to sit down for like a day and say, all right, justify your existence. Like, well, seriously, it's like here you are in university, you're taking a bunch of courses, you've got some sort of vague career plan. It's like, defend the damn thing a bit, since you're going to go live it and everything. You're staking everything on it. It's like, what's your damn plan? And why are you so convinced that it's not the plan of a babbling fool? Because if you haven't thought about it, then it is. And if you really want to go out there and live that out, one of the things Carl Jung said was that You're in the story, whether you know it or not. And then he made two nice comments about that. If it's someone else's story, you're probably going to get a bit part, and it might not be the one you want. And if it's a story that you don't know, it might be one with a really bad ending. Or maybe it's just bad, period, with a worse ending. And if you don't know what the story that you're living out is, maybe that's the one. You know, maybe you got that from your mother, you got it from your grandmother, you got it from your aunt, or God only knows where you picked it up, because you pick up things like mad, because that's what human beings are like. So maybe you're living a malevolent tragedy unconsciously. And then one thing you might ask yourself is, well, how wretched and miserable is your life? Let's add futile to that. How wretched, miserable, and futile is your life? And you might say, well, yeah, 70% on each count. It's like, then you're probably unconsciously living out a malevolent tragedy. And maybe that's not for the best. Well, it's either that or the whole universe hates you, right? Or 70% hates you. You know, so anyways.
You just missed what I said. That's your freedom from being, that was your freedom to set, because you still own, he took from me. That was your freedom right there. That he knew everything that was going to happen, and even though you looking at it bad, he knew it was going to be, you still own what happened to you. It's over. I made this mistake. No, let us make, your problem is you, every day you sitting there talking about who you are based on your mistake, and you not talking about you based on the three coming together and creating you. That's where your focus needs to be, that you let us make man in our image after our likeness. You are priority. Shh, I know you want your mama's favorite, but you are God's priority. I know you want your daddy's favorite. Come on, how many of you, just be honest, raise your hand. I grew up in a house. My biological father didn't grow up in the house with me, or we didn't have that kind of relationship. Let me just see your hand, be honest. Just put your hands up. I just wasn't even in the same house as my, yeah, come on, keep your hands up. How many of y'all, me and my father, we don't even have that kind of relationship? Let me just see that. And you know why? God didn't take a chance on your priority to a human. Oh, come on, can somebody hear what I'm saying? God didn't wait for your daddy to make you a priority before he made you a priority. God didn't wait on your mama before he said before your mama knew you were in her womb, I called you. You are a priority before your mama even knew you were in the womb. I didn't wait for some doctor to tell her she was pregnant before I made you. Your problem is you don't know that you're a priority.
It's like, all right, you got 3 years, man. You're going to live them anyways. Devote those 3 years to setting the world up around you so that it's the best it could possibly be for you, as if you were taking care of yourself, as if you cared for yourself. Well, what would that look like? You know, let's say, just for the sake of argument, if you figured out where you were, that you could have what would be best for you. Well, what is that? I bet you never asked. People don't ask, and so life comes at them like random snakes, and they sort of fend them off, and life goes by, and things don't work out the way people expected them to. But a huge part of that is they didn't know where they were, because they wouldn't look, or didn't know that they should look. Ignorance and willful blindness, right? Two great catastrophes. And they never figured out where they wanted to go or why. Now, there's a problem with figuring out where you want to go. And the problem is that you make your conditions for failure clear to yourself. And people don't like that. So if you keep yourself in the fog, then you can't tell when you screwed up. Now, that isn't so good, because you're still screwing up. You're just too blind, self-blind to notice. Although, in the short term, that's less painful. If you make your criteria for success razor sharp, then you know every time you screw up. But that's great, because then you could fix it. You could either repair the behavioral inadequacy or the conceptual inadequacy that you're using as a tool in that situation, or maybe you could adjust your damn plan. Either way, you can fix it.